Hey folks, end all be all here, and we're back with a new season of 5v5. It's going to be the final season of this old format of 5v5 and 3v3, where we have lesser number of teams. And I'm really looking forward to the boost in teams come next season, because frankly speaking, it was getting a little boring, especially 5v5, because you have so much of offense left that there was just no way for you to keep a tough enough defense to prevent a full clear. Or most people one shot the whole board, and then it becomes a battle of efficiency. And the way that I like to enjoy my game is I like to prevent full clears. I like heavy defense. All of that was somewhat possible in 3v3, but no way in 5v5. And now with the extra boost in teams, three extra teams in Division 2 and 3, and four extra in Division 1. I think it's going to make GAC really exciting again. I haven't been this excited about the game in a while. I think more than any new character release or anything else like that. I think this increase in teams is what has got me really excited. I've already started brainstorming on what are some of the cool fringe teams that I can take both on offense and defense. And I was actually wishing that this season was the bump up season, but understandably they need maybe a month to work things out, work the kinks out, especially for the medium to lower divisions. So it's fine, I can wait. All right, so let's get on with this season of Grand Arena. We have 5v5, which is still 7 teams on offense and defense. So it's going to be a little boring, but let's go ahead and get the first match started. So today, in the first match of the first season of Grand Arena, we are facing our opponent today is Torgat, who is from the guild Legacy Force. Pretty decent lifetime banners, 673k. In fact, in our group of 8, after me, this guy was the next highest lifetime banners. He's got 3 GLs just like me. So I think he's going to be probably the toughest opponent in my bracket. So starting off, facing him, this is a pre-recorded battle, by the way. I'm giving commentary after the fact. But let me, briefly tell you about his stats. He's got about 1,500 rank in Kaiba before. Not the best opponent I've faced, but pretty decent for the first week. I'm just glad that I didn't get an auto deploy, because a lot of my buddies who are playing in the first week, either they get auto deploys or get really weak opponents, or it tends to make the game even more boring. This way, at least there's some amount of excitement. I did have to think to in order to be able to set my defense and offense. So here you can see I'm still going to go with the same strategy of keeping my GLs for offense and keeping uniformly tough teams on defense. It's worked really well for me in 3v3s, and last couple of 5v5 seasons I've been undefeated primarily because of that strategy as well. So I'm going to continue with that, and I think with the increase in squads next month, that strategy is going to become even more valuable, because where my roster really shines is depth. What I'm thinking is, with more teams, you need to have flexibility on offense, and you need to have teams that you can't really break apart on defense. So things like gas, things like Darth Revan team, for example, factions which have a lot of synergy with all 5 together. CLS, for example, the CLS Rebel squad with C3PO in there and Chupio. All these kind of teams have to be kept on defense, because the 5 of them are really strong together. And teams that you keep on offense would be teams which give you tons of flexibility, like GG. With Newt, for example, you keep that on offense with the expanded teams, so that if you see a CLS, you're able to counter that. And if you don't see a CLS team, you can then break apart that GG team into 2 different teams and take GG and maybe B1, B2 to go counter something else, and take something else for Newt. So and same thing with GLs. You can take the GLs, and then if you don't see a place that you can use a full GL team, like an enemy GL, you can then go and use break up your GL to solo something, and then use the rest of your GL faction for something else. So that's my initial thought on that. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. We still have a month for refining the strategy on that. Let's go ahead with this battle. So for my defense over here in the front, I placed a GG Newt team, and I placed Padme. Saw that he usually takes CLS against Padme, and he's typically not taken. He's typically overkilled Grievous with SLKR or other GLs or JKL, for example. So I decided to keep this over here in the front just to test that out. And let's see, yep, at the back over here, I decided to keep my Gas and Darth Revan. Both tough squads, especially if you exhaust a GL or two at the front and are not able to, don't have enough left. Even with a GL, Gas gives very less banners. I mean, you can't afford to really take in a solo GL against a Gas. You can't do that against DR. Both Ray and SLKR can solo it, but Gas you can't afford that because of the max health reduction and the tremendous amount of damage that the team does. So you take in a few characters, and you typically with Gas you'll end up losing a few characters on the team, even if the GL wins. So Gas will give you less banners, whether it's a mirror, whether it's Darth Revan, or whether it's another GL. So it's a great team to keep on defense in 5v5. And so that's the back wall. Up front at the top, kept CLS squad. I love that on defense. I don't like to break up these five. And then I've kept my crew squad with the Hux and Sith Trooper. And then I kept my JTR squad with the heroes and the droids. It's a pretty tough team. You can't really use Night Sisters to take this out. That's typically the counter used for JTR, but this one demands a slightly better counter. So those are the 7 teams in the character zone. And in the ship zone, I've kept both the Get 2 ships. Felt confident enough, especially with the new Rados counter that I've developed to Negotiator. I feel confident enough to take out, to use the Rados to take out either the Negotiator or the Malevolence if I see them on offense. And then I've got my own Rebel fleet as well as Empire fleet to take out anything else. So these 3 fleets I think should be able to do enough for me. All right, so that's my defense. Let's take a look at what my opponent has said. Now, Torgat, pretty decent defense, I have to say. Not many people keep Gas. In fact, in the last 5v5 season, I don't think I saw Gas on defense even once, maybe once. But yeah, this is not something which I've encountered, at least at my level. It's an amazing team to keep on defense, but a lot of people like the flexibility of Gas on offense. Padme, fully relict with Shakti in there as well, a 318 speed Shakti. So that's going to take something interesting. It's got a Night Sister squad, which you really shouldn't keep on defense in 5v5 with troopers developed so well these days. And then down south, he's kept a GL and he's kept the GG New team. That one is the GG New team is it's definitely not something that we can use Night Sisters against or some other squads also can tend to struggle if you don't take the right characters in. So that's going to be interesting to take out. And then we've got the SLKR squad with all the first orders, all the right first orders at least. So that's a tough squad to take out, and it's a pretty speedy first SLKR as well, about 580 or so. So I wanted to go in with my Jedi Master Luke against that particular squad. So let's go ahead and see that battle first. Jedi Master Luke, Jedi Knight Luke, and then I've got Hermit Yoda to spread some foresight around. Kiari Mundi, always good for a little extra damage. And then I've got Old Ben in there just for the extra ability block and turn meter reduction. Old Ben is pretty good against SLKR. Now over here, without Jedi Knight Revan in there, it's not as smooth a counter. But I needed Jedi Knight Revan to be able to take down the Grievous squad down south. You can see over here already he's through my protection, and I'm not even taunting anymore. So I need to start getting rid of characters as soon as I can. And he's already started going around and attacking my other characters. So I need to get the main characters out, which is going to be Red first and then Hux. But first I reduce some turn meter over there. Can't go around taunt yet, so I just I ended up dispelling that taunt. Yeah, I mean the battle is going okay so far. But we have triggered red over here. You can see, and and this guy's already reached ultimate, which is never a good situation to be in. There we go. A couple of my Jedi already dead. Well, another advantage of taking Old Ben into the team is that at least he gives some amount of protection, health recovery, turn meter gain once he dies. But that's low banners. This would have been great if Yoda was in there. Extra source of protection up and healing and foresight. But that's fine. I think these three characters should be able to take care of it, no problem at all. I do have to heal up from time to time just to get the taunt back because this guy is hitting pretty hard. But not a big deal. In the end, I got to my ultimate and I'm able to control the battle. Yeah, I mean, an R8 really fast Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is always going to be a problem, but with both the Lukes in there, it's really not much of a big deal. I'm actually excited about Old Ben. If he's a requirement for the new GL Kenobi, and if you need to relic him up even higher, like R7 or R8, he actually might make a pretty formidable Jedi to have on this particular counter. Okay, so now we take in our Grievous. Against Grievous, we take in our Jedi Master, Jedi Knight Revan, and here again we don't have Yoda, we don't have Hoda, so we have to make do with Basti over here. But Basti is always great against Grievous. She's not Basti, Zaris. Zaris is always great against Grievous just because all the critical hits that they do ends up not hurting as much with Barriss around. So whether you're taking the Padme counter or whether you're taking the Jedi counter, Barriss always finds a place versus Grievous, in my opinion. If I had Padme, I would have probably taken Padme over here. She's pretty safe and comfortable. But Padme also gets you only 55 banners. The way this battle is going, I'm not going to get much more than that. But that's fine. I'm just trying to one-shot as much as I can because that's going to be my goal when it comes to 5v5. Definitely don't want to drop any battles because then your opponent can easily win by one-shotting your whole board. And it's very easy to one-shot the board. Very difficult to prevent that in 5v5. So my goal is just to one-shot and put a big banner score up on the board and keep pressure on my opponent. So here I am trying to recover as much health and protection as I can. Good thing Basti Savior got triggered over there on Basti, so at least she recovered some health and protection. Now I just have to take these guys down and then try to recover as many banners as I can. So this gets me back a few more protection banners, but I'm missing health banners on a couple of characters. I got it back on Yoda, but it's still missing a little bit on Zaris. So I need to just call Zaris to get her healed up a little bit more. I do that, but she doesn't get fully healed up and I end up with 54, which is fine. I'm happy with the result. It's still a one-shot victory. So expose the back, and I see there's nothing much out there. I was expecting these teams because this is what he usually sets on defense at the back. So now I have got both my GLs left to take out both Gas as well as Padme. So against Gas, I decide to take in Rey with Scoundrels. Now these guys are amazing at banner recovery. All the Scoundrels, including Stormtrooper Han in there. There's not much damage on the steel. In fact, there's no damage on this team apart from Rey. Whistling Birds can do a little bit damage, but it's mostly Rey. But there's tons of survivability, protection, recovery, foresight, and all of that good stuff is there. So that's something which I think might help me preserve banners against Gas, because otherwise, any other team that I take in with Rey, Gas is going to end up killing almost everyone, and Rey might end up finishing the battle, but Gas will probably finish most of the characters out there, and I would end up with 40-something banners. So same thing with SLKR. If I'd taken SLKR with any of the other First Order squad, I would have probably ended up with only SLKR remaining behind, and very low banners. So now you can see over here, these guys are doing tons of damage on my Ray, and I've already lost all protection and very little bit of health left. So I'm trying to take care of fives as soon as I can. Whistling Birds didn't do enough damage, so gas is up again. Um, and because there are all five characters remaining, the whirlwind doesn't do the ultimate doesn't do that much damage, and gas is not able to sit down yet. So we are still trying to do the best that we can. But you see over here, apart from Ray, almost all the other characters are at full health and full protection, and doing pretty decently in terms of banner recovery. So that's one good thing about the Scoundrel Squad is you've got tons of survivability, and yep, so that's great. So now I can use this on one of my tanks now that one of them has come under full health and full protection, and I keep using Ray to heal up my characters and to keep them fully tuned up. But there's not much damage at all. I mean, these guys, they're not getting taken out by gas, but gas is also not going down. So I need to do what I can. So over here you can see um, these guys are taking tons of turn, and gas is almost at full health and almost at half protection, so it's going to take a little bit of while to get him down. Okay, so now this ultimate gets him down. Now I need to make sure that I get rid of fives as soon as I can. I don't want to create super clones because that'll create problems for my Ray. So I'm slow playing it, doing the best as I can. 2.5 minutes already gone, but luckily the whirlwind comes around, and I'm able to take out fives. Let me actually rewind that, because that particular piece was an interesting piece that you have to see again. Okay, so now you'll see over here. Yeah, so whirlwind has taken out the rest of the squad, and now you see that there's only two characters left. There's Arc with about yellow health, and then there's Gas. And I've got 17 stacks of Whistling Bird. Now, typically, Gas does not get any is invulnerable to damage when he's in the sitting down position, and you can't even damage him with AOE's and all that other stuff. So in this particular battle, something happened which I'd never really seen for the very first time I'm seeing something like this happen. Is Gas getting taken out when he's in the sitting down position? Because typically what happens is, even if there's a GL out there who's annihilating someone else or taking somebody else out, Gas always gets a bonus turn. He gets to go up, and then gets a bonus turn, and then gets to do his additional damage before getting taken out. In this particular case, what Whistling Birds does is, look at that. It took out both Arc and Gas at the same time, because I believe it's the order of operations. It's first the Whistling Birds attacks the weakest character and takes out Arc. Then it attacks the next character, because immediately after Arc gets taken out, Gas technically gets up, and he's not invulnerable to damage anymore. And then the balance of the Whistling Birds attacks Gas and takes him out before he even gets a chance to go up. Because if he had gone up, then he would have taken a bonus turn, done his AoE, reduced a ton of my banners, all that crap. So all of that did not happen, and I didn't really know that Gas could be taken out before he had a chance to get up. So I ended up with 57 banners, which is a pretty decent outcome. So that's the Gas battle. Always good to end up with 57 plus in a Gas battle, because even mirrors or other GLs can't get you that much. Now, well, yeah, a C solo can obviously get you more than 60, but you have to be modded right for that. Now, SLKR solo against Padme is a very easy thing, whether it's in 3v3 or 5v5. It's extremely easy to go against that. There's no risk at all. You have to be able to stun Anakin first and take him out as soon as you can, because he can land buff immunity and damage immunity or healing immunity, and that can cause some problems if you're not able to get rid of the healing immunity fast. So if that happens, if healing immunity lands on you, get to the ultimate as soon as you can. Even if it's at 60%, get to the ultimate, heal yourself up to the full, and try to get rid of as many people as you can. So that's the key with SLKR, is try to take out Annie as soon as you can. If you can, that's great. If you can't, take the first ultimate that you can. That'll give you a safety buffer at least. Okay, now what else do we have? So then we have the sister squad, and I decided to take in my troopers. Given that I've been working on my troopers, I've recently started farming up a dark trooper with crystals, and I'm pretty impressed by what that guy can do. So I'm about 100 shards away from getting him full. But until he gets there, and my troopers can do wondrous things like take out GLs, I think I'll just use my regular troopers who have. I think I've got all of them down to G12 now. All these guys are G12 with the exception of Moff Gideon and Piet, who are G13. No relics on them, just R0. But I just needed them for the speed boost. These guys, as long as they've got the speed advantage, you really don't need that much damage. Piet stacks gives more than enough damage boost, even at G12 to take care of most major teams. Um, if I get Dark Trooper in there, I'm going to make sure Dark Trooper is at least Relic 5 because his damage is the only damage which is going to matter in this team. For the rest of the characters, you just need to have speed and the right turn order and all that thing to make sure that Dark Trooper gets to assist and goes first. But Dark Trooper, in my opinion, is the only person needing relics on this team or needing high relics. Others just need the speed boost. So I'll do more testing. I think in week 2 of this season of Grand Arena, I'll have Dark Trooper relicked up. I'm pretty close to unlocking him or to getting him to 7 stars. Once he gets there, I will test him out with the G12 Trooper squad and see to what limits I can push the Trooper squad. Okay, so ships over here, he's got a Holdo with the TIE Bomber, which is an interesting combination. Most of his opponents have got 55 in that combination. And then he's got the Rebel squad. So we'll leave the ships till the end. Let's just skip ahead and see what else he's done. So my opponent likes to attack in the last couple of hours, and with about 2 hours left to go, he did complete his attack phase. This is his final score, 1732. So you can see over here, let me actually go back a little bit. So he struggled quite a lot on my defense. Was able to one-shot Padme for 60. I think he took a CLS in there. And against Grievous, he dropped a battle, ended up with a second shot. At the top, he ended up having to use 3 battles against the CLS and 2 battles against my crew squad. One shot my JTR squad for 54 or so, but quite a few struggles over here. And ships he was able to one shot, but he got about 54 on my negotiator, probably with his own malevolence, and then used his negotiator against my malevolence for 62. And out here, this is his final result. He was not able to clear my Darth Revan. He did one attempt on it and wasn't able to touch gas. So despite the fact that he had 2 of his own GLs on offense, he wasn't able to clear my board, and in fact left 2 teams untouched. So good outcome. I think keeping tough teams in the front. I think one of my teams in the front definitely pulled out 1 GL, and then maybe the CLS squad at the top was what pulled out a second GL because he wasn't able to clear it after 2 turns. All the characters were still remaining behind, so I think he ended up wanting to get to ships and clear at least 3 zones. So ended up using a GL there and didn't have anything for these 2 teams at the back. So no less stress for us. We just need to clear to win. So let's take out these weak squads at the back first, and we should aim for 60s wherever we can. This is a hard counter against Geos. You can go with the Piet lead, you can go with the Vader lead, you can go with EP lead. All of them work pretty fine. You don't even need Watt in there. If you don't have Watt, I prefer to use Piet. Since I've already used my troopers elsewhere, I'm going to use Watt over here because I have him, might as well use it. And then I have Shore in there to absorb at least some sort of hits. And because he's a tank, Watt can always give him the tech and have him regenerate back to full protection. So I get rid of Brood Alpha. These guys will counter, take a few turns, and you can see my Shore is ending up taking some amount of damage. But once I get the tank tech on Shore, he does a decent job of recovering protection. So nothing much to worry about over there. There you see, he's already back to full health and full protection. And all I need to do is take care of the rest of the characters, and I will end with a very easy 61. So yeah, these geos are not much of a threat in 5v5 anymore. There's so many counters to them. Sisters can take care of them pretty easily as well for low banners, but they're not a threat anymore. Um, Bounty hunters can do a decent job. Treya, obviously, and Vader is a hard counter. Mon Mothma, I think, also can do a decent job, especially if you've got the turn meter train version of Mon Mothma. So speaking of Mon Mothma, so that's the last character zone for my opponent. He's got. There's one thing I always tend to forget, that every time I take bounty hunters against Mon Mothma, Base gets tons of turn meter because my team starts with buffs, and he gets buffs. He gets turn meter when the enemy gets buffs and all that. So even if he's slow, he ends up going first before the rest of my bounty hunters. But he dispelled the buffs, which is what I need to get my contract. And these guys almost took my Mando out. Look at that. Lando's AoE did a very decent job. And this team could have gone south pretty soon. But I managed to at least have, some sort of recovery over there. So what you need against Mon Mothma team is permanent death solutions. So either like things like Nihilus, things like Django, he just executed someone, things like Mando, who also executed someone before this. Those kind of things which prevent revives tend to do really well because, Mon Mothma has got no power then to get any of these characters back. So you can see over here, I've got pretty good recovery, although being almost down a character, I was able to, get that recovery and get to almost full health and full protection. There's only one character left to go. Missing a little bit of health on Mando, but that's fine. I think we can see if we can't heal up with grief once we get a turn. So all the reviving is not going to be possible because Django and Mando are the ones who eliminated the other characters. And now I just go ahead and eliminate Biggs, and that's it. A little bit of protection missing on Bosk, but we end with 59. So not bad. We averaged 60 in the last two character zones, 61 and 59. Now we just have to beat the ships, and we can call it a day. Now for ships, let's see. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Yes, I take my Empire fleet against the Rebels. If there's no fast Biston in the starting lineup, I really find that Empire does a decent job. I like some protection for my Empire because these guys tend to hit hard. So I like to get in the bomber, the Sith bomber, just for some extra insurance. So just to take a little bit of heat off from my TIE bomber, because he's the main star of the show against the Rebels. You get the two debuffs out, one of them burning, the other one the thermal detonators or the bombs, which gives days as well, which is amazing against Rebels, which is another reason why I start with the Sith bomber against the Rebels. Now I just need to go ahead and now that the main damage dealer is gone, I just need to go and get in my Palp shuttle, heal some characters, try to recover some banners over here. And now the battle is very much under control. There's really no damage left on this team. So I'm just trying to recover some banners and end with some decent protection. I used to take Rebel mirrors, but you never can say with Rebel mirrors. Even if you have a Biston, a really fast Biston, and you're going up against a Rebel fleet without a Biston, sometimes a lucky assist from the enemy Rebel can take out your bigs, and you end up with low banners. So there's a lot of RNG associated with Rebels, which is why I've stopped using them in mirror matches. Mirror matches are never fun. So yeah, here I get in my gauntlet to get some amount of protection recovery, and then I finish it off for a cool 65, which is a great outcome against a Rebel fleet. Typically, Tarkin's fleet doesn't really have protection or health recovery, so ending with 65 is a good outcome over there. Okay, now against the Radis fleet with the TIE bomber, I think he likes to use his Houndstooth on offense with his Malevolence or Negotiator. So for the Radis, I decided to do a mirror match. The Houndstooth is a superior tank to use with the Radis. I feel way more comfortable using the Radis than using my own Rebels against this fleet. Just because TIE Bomber isn't there. In fact, I think that's the reason he's put TIE Bomber in there to prevent or to slow down the Rebel counter against the Radis, because Rebels are a really hard counter to Radis. They take it out, they melt it apart really easily. But if you have a TIE Bomber in there to apply the burning, then that hampers the Rebel fleet quite a lot. But luckily, that we don't have to deal with that problem. We have our fleet over here. The one mistake that I've made over here is I started taunting with the Bosk before the TIE Bomber had a chance to do its AoE and exhaust that dispel ability. You should always taunt with Bosk. Whenever you're going against a fleet which has a dispel, always taunt with Bosk after the dispel is gone. So in this case, TIE Bomber, after TIE Bomber goes, then do the dispel. In the case if you're facing a negotiator, after the Y wing goes and dispels, that's when you use your taunt. So just a few things that to keep in mind when you're using the Houndstooth with Radis, because there's no other way for Radis to get back the taunt. It takes way too long. You need to be able to taunt right away with Radis, because the other ships in the Radis fleet are pretty weak, so you need the Houndstooth to take the heat off them, so that they can help the Radis get to the ultimate. That's always the goal of this ship. But here you can see I'm doing a reasonably okay job. The ships are surviving. As long as the Houndstooth is around, there's no problem at all. Now I just need to get in the I love the Ebenhawk as a reinforcement. It tends to do really a good job. And look over here, the enemy got into Ebenhawk and managed to dispel everyone, and then managed to take out almost take out or right now it was able to take out the Poe right away. So that is all because of the Ebenhawk. So great ship. It's a great ship to pull in as a reinforcement. In fact, if you're facing an Empire fleet, an Ebenhawk reinforcement is almost a must, because it comes in, dispels all the target lofts, and gets everyone chaff. So even if you've got the Vader ship in there with which can't dispel the target locks, chaff actually is the only ship in the game which can dispel the target lock from a Vader ship. So anyway, now we have the ultimate, so it's a pretty straightforward battle. So we managed to recover some amount of health and protection with the ultimate, but we did lose one ship, Poe's ship, which is why we ended up with 62 and not 65, which is fine. I think anything above 60 is just fine in fleet. So that's the final battle outcome. We've got 21-20, which is a great outcome. I think anything above 21-10, 21-15 is a competitive score. It means you one-shot your opponent for decent banners, more than 50, more than 55. So pretty happy with this result. So a good way to start the match. I like that. I would have liked something easier to get warmed up. Usually first week tends to be easier matchups. This guy set a tough defense though, and I had to spend a little extra time thinking about trying not to make mistakes in order to be able to get the one shot. My defense did end up doing the job, 17-32, so I'm happy with that result. I think the next two matches in this week is going to be relatively simpler, but you never know. I've been surprised before. Anyway, so that's it for the first match. Hope you guys are having a good Grand Arena season yourself. Good beginning to the season. There's a lot to talk about in Grand Arena. With the new GL coming out, new format expanding, and new Bad Batch characters coming out as well, and Ahsoka Tano as well in a few months' time. Commander Ahsoka Tano. So tons to talk about. Obviously I don't have time to talk about it in today's video, but as the season goes on, I'll give you guys my thoughts on some of those new developments. Cool. Thanks for tuning in. Happy gaming. I'll catch you guys in a couple of days. See you later.